Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to new people that are joining us for the first time. This is a morning show that we do talking about things that are of interest to older women, women over 60, fabulous women over 60, full of energy and life, and just trying to make the very best of this time in their life. So I'm really grateful for you being here. Thank you so much for all the amazing comments that you leave, for your support of 60 and Me, and just for being nice people. I really, really do love you. So anyway, here we are. I'm drinking my morning cup of tea. I've got Earl Grey. And it's just a very classic tea. I like it. I like my Earl Grey English breakfast tea, but hope you've got something nice to drink as well. And just take it easy for a bit. Just sit down, relax. We're going to go on a little journey here, and hopefully it'll be fun information for you. So, as you all know, I love to travel. I'm on the road quite a bit, partly because of work and also because I just love visiting new places. I go and see my family often in different places and, just try to make travel an adventure. I have a pattern of planning for travel. I have a checklist system. I pretty much pack for the next trip when I get home. Like I have standard things that go from one suitcase to the next. And I always am ready almost in a moment's notice to go somewhere. So I have a plan. I always anticipate the things that are going to go wrong. Well, most of them, as much as we can. And, I have my what if bag, which I've shared with you all before, that's got, my ankle brace that I always take, my medicines, of course, the things I need for vitamins, supplements, things that I know I cannot get, which is very, very few things these days. But there's always something that I forget. I take my phone chargers, my adapter plugs, you name the list, I've got it on my checklist. But there's always something that I wish I had. This time, last time, it was a safety pin. I normally always put a safety pin inside my handbag, but I'd used it before and I really could have used that safety pin. Such a silly little simple thing, but it would have really helped me in a situation. But there we are. You never can be totally on top of what's going to happen when you travel. But I do have 7 little tips that I think hopefully you can get some inspiration from. And I'm going to just listen to them myself because I always need a little reminder. Okay, so the first thing, be smart with your planning. And this means to be really thoughtful about the really basic things, the simple things, like your passport. Your passport, when you travel abroad, has to have at least 6 months on it. So don't go to if you try to travel, if your passport is going to expire in 6 months or less, they will not let you into that country. This has never happened to me, touch wood, but it can happen, and I've read really horror stories. So make sure your passport's up to date. Make a copy of your itinerary and put it somewhere other than your passport. Put it somewhere safe so that you can you pull it out at a moment's notice and figure out, what the timings were or where you're supposed to be going. Sometimes you have to make a change on your plane and you just may forget that. Just things, put in a copy of your itinerary somewhere. You might need it entering another country too, because sometimes they want to know, for example, that you're going to find a way out of their country. So if you don't have a return ticket, they don't want you to be coming in one way and staying there. So they just need to show them your itinerary that you have a ticket to return home. Then in another place, a wristlet or something like a small bag, a pouch, a safety belt, something that you know is going to be close to you always. Put these things. Now, I actually have a little wristlet. I have several of these, as I've shown you before. They've got like little zips on the top, and you can put things inside them, like, your copies of things, maybe a few extra dollars or pounds in your currency, your contact numbers. These are things that might be your bank account number, without the little secret code, of course, and things like list of medications, perhaps even a copy of prescriptions, your doctor's phone number. You can keep these all in little bits of paper in a very small space, and you can just literally put this on your wrist. This is such a cool thing. It's made by a company called Spriggs. And I've actually mentioned this several times before, but they come in all different patterns and colors, and they're very cool. Sprigs. And so just basically do those things in paper and put them in a safe place. But then also email yourself all the information. I always do this too. And I always email one of my children, so my son. So just to make sure that someone else has got a list of all of my information, my numbers, my contact information, and so on. Now, if these documents are lost or stolen in any way, you've got an email backup. So do that. That's a really cool thing. Now, another thing I always do is pack from a list. Now, I mentioned it earlier. I always have a checklist. It's not so much like really written in stone, but it's depending, of course, on the weather and the kind of place that I'm going to be traveling. But a packing list can really help you avoid that moment of, oh my goodness, I've done something crazy. So I have these Ziploc bags, or what do they call them? Like compression bags. And they're just in different colors. And I keep them by clothes, medications, electronics, what else? Useful things, documents and so on. And just put those in separate colored pouches. So I have my, the tops on one side and then the bottoms on the other, dresses in one, and maybe my bras and panties and stuff in the other one. Because these Ziplocs that I have two sides to them. So they're in pink, blue, yellow, and something green. So then my suitcase is really tidy and I've got everything in categories. And of course, put stuff that you really need in your carry-on bag. Medications, for example. You can have a backup of medications in your checked bag, but it's always a good idea to put the medications that you need for maybe a good 2 weeks in your bag that you carry on with you. So that's super important. Now, in terms of medications, organize them. I don't take too many pills, but I have about 3 things that I take every day, and I always keep them. Put them in like a container that has Monday through Sunday little openings. I should show it to you, but you've probably all seen them. And then I have separately extras in the little pouches or in the little sort of, what do you call it, like you get from the doctor that you push out. I don't even know the name of what I'm trying to explain, but you know what I mean. Take extras. Then I take pictures of that container, like the box that the medications came in, because then it has the name of the medication, the number of the amount milligrams that you take, and just something you could look online to double check if you needed to. So put the ones you need right away in a little daily container. Take additional ones in the boxes they come in, and then take pictures of the box. Those are the 3 things I do with medications. And the other thing is to take an extra week on top of what you pack, just in case you might get held up where you are. You may have to stay in Bora Bora for another 2 weeks, or another. Well, I'm just exaggerating, but something could happen in the world. So always have a little extra if you are very dependent on your medications. Another thing is to watch your nutrition. Now, my problem when I travel is I like to try everything new. So when I get to new places, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a great looking whatever pastry. I think I'll try 2 of those, one for now, one for later. Yogurt. Oh my gosh, look at that great yogurt. I've never seen that before. And I just fill up with things that are not in my normal diet, and they have a habit to sneak up on the calories. So just be aware that, if you can stick a little bit to your normal nutrition diet, make sure you've got some things in your carry-on bag that are things you love to eat, little snack bars or protein bars, something that's not all sugar, and just do your best to eat a normal diet. While you're away from home, the specialties are wonderful, but just don't go too crazy. That's just my advice. I'm talking to me now. And I know how hard it is. The other thing to do is to keep moving. This is super important too. Even when you're on a train, on a plane, on a boat, wherever you are, just yes, of course you want to relax. That's the most important thing, but don't go crazy. Do something every couple of hours. Get up, move around, go dancing in the evenings. But when you travel a long distance, you might want to wear those socks that help with compression, because as you get older, this does become more of an issue. And also, when you get to your destination, always, if you can, go into the hotel room, or wherever you are, and put your feet up against the wall. Just lie on the floor and put your feet up vertically, so that you let the blood flow back around your heart. Silly thing, but it really is important. Exercise also helps with travel anxiety if you're a little nervous traveler. One other thing to remember is travel insurance. Okay, we know that travel insurance gets super expensive as you get older. You've got to have it. You've just got to have it. And I know if this prevents you from traveling, then you're just going to have to travel closer or try something a little different. But there are some ones that I know in the UK there's some good ones, and they're not too expensive if you put it just for a small period of time. Still, the truth is it's going to cost, but it's really important because you can get your luggage recovered or covered if you lose it. You can get if you have an emergency and have to be airlifted home. It's very, very important, especially on cruises. And they actually make it mandatory. And most organized tours make it mandatory that you have travel insurance. Another thing to remind you is to keep in touch. I always let my family know when I've arrived at a destination. I use Facebook a lot. When I get to a train station, I'll check in on Facebook. Margaret's arrived in Paris, on her way to London, she's in Paris. Then people at least know where I am. And I think that's really important. One of the things you can do is with Skype or FaceTime. Those are apps on your phone that you don't, or on your computer, where you don't need to pay. So all you need is a Wi-Fi connection, and as long as you've got that on your phone or PC, you can actually contact people free. So it is important to keep in touch, and just let someone know that you've arrived safely, safe and sound. Here I am. But the other thing is to remember if you make a change to your itinerary, like I've had to, for example, one time in, where was it, Germany, I had to make a change to my hotel. I got to the hotel that I'd booked and it was awful. And I got back in the taxi and I said, take me to this other place, and I got another hotel. But I made sure I told everybody, or at least my family. And so be sure you check out the country you're going to. Make sure that you've got the electrical adapters. Just be prepared for a new country experience. And you can really then, once you've done these 7 or so things, focus on what? Having fun with your travel. And I hope I haven't gone too fast through all of this, because to me this is like just standard procedure. But for people traveling not so often or for the first time, I hope it's been useful. Have a really great time wherever you're traveling this year. Maybe it's around the corner. Maybe it's across the world. Whatever you're doing, though, just be prepared and just have fun. That's the most important thing. Enjoy the opportunity and the experiences that you're going to get. All right, everyone. Well, I hope that's inspired you to do a little travel and to enjoy it, and just to let us know how you get on, and to hopefully follow these few tips. Have I left something out? Put your comments in the section below. Let's have a conversation if I've forgotten something. And what savvy travel tips do you have for the women in our 60andMe community? All right, everyone. Well, happy travels. Have a great day. Get out and do something fun. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.